Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be a law school Q&A. I posted on my community tab, I think like last week, if any of you guys had questions, because I really wanted to sit down and film this video. And some people responded, but I really just had like a mock list of questions that I was going to answer because I feel like those are the most frequently asked questions that I wish were answered when I was applying to law school last year. So hopefully you guys find this video helpful. So I guess we'll start off this video with me introducing myself, since I'm sure a lot of you that are going to come across this video are not going to be subscribers of my channel. But hi, my name is Ivanka and I'm a first-year law student at St. John's University School of Law in New York City. I feel like that is literally a mouthful, but yes, I literally just started law school a month ago, but I feel like I've already learned so much where I can actually sit down and film this video for you. And I feel like coming from a 1L, the perspective is going to be a little bit different than a 2L or a 3L. So starting off with the first question that I got on my community tab was, someone asked any LSAT tips you can recommend. I took in August and was not happy with my score, so I'm retaking in October. I actually only took the LSAT once. I know that's very uncommon, but I was pretty happy with my score and I felt confident enough that if I did apply, I would get in somewhere, even if it wasn't like a top school. But that's a story for a different day. I personally wasn't really interested in going to a top school, so that really like wasn't on my goal list. I just really wanted to go to a school that fit all my needs and that I was comfortable being at. So as for LSAT tips and preparation, I personally use the LSAT trainer by Mike Kim. I found that really helpful. But in addition to that, I did also use 7Sage. 7Sage was literally my saving grace. It is this online platform that has personalized videos for literally every single topic on the LSAT. It's so worth the money. I can't even put it into words. Every single practice test is online with answers and explanations for each question with videos. It is so helpful. And then in addition to that, they actually have this analytic tab where it pinpoints your strengths and weaknesses and it'll curate to help you with those specific topics. And it is seriously the best thing I spent my money on for the LSAT. I believe it was around $75 a month, but if you're really pushing through and this is what you want, I personally think it's worth the money. It helped me so much and I didn't discover it until like later on in my LSAT studying journey. Before that, I was using the Power Score Bibles, and yes, they were helpful, but I really feel like 7Sage just made it so much easier for me. I'm personally more of like a visual and audio learner, so the videos really helps me out so much. I will link it down below. I totally think it's worth the money. The next question is, if you haven't filmed yet, what inspired you to become a lawyer? So I feel like my path is pretty unique. I was never that person that like grew up knowing that I wanted to be a lawyer. Like if you would have told me like 3 years ago that I would be in law school today, I would have laughed at you, because it's just something that I never had on my radar. So all my life I actually wanted to be a dentist. To make the long story short, when I was in undergrad, I had a dental internship for about a year and I was a bio major. And it's not that I didn't like bio. I actually really enjoyed my classes. It was difficult, not gonna lie. It was very hard, but I really just didn't feel a passion for dentistry, even though I really thought I was. I didn't enjoy my internship. I absolutely dreaded going every single day. I got woozy at the sight of blood, which was something that just like wasn't normal for me at all before that. And I just really didn't like it. I didn't feel connected to it. It was just very much the same routine every day, and I feel like I'm someone who needs something different going on every single day. And some people might argue that law really isn't a good profession if you're that kind of person, but I really like thinking on my feet, and I feel like law provides that. And there's just so many different things that you can do with a law degree. And if I would have pursued biology, I feel like I would have been stuck in this little box where I had to do something with medicine. So I'm so happy that I did choose law. I feel like I just went off on a tangent. Basically, I ended up switching my major to business, and throughout my business major, I got to take a whole bunch of business law classes, real estate law classes, property, tax law, and I just really enjoyed it, and I looked forward to going to those classes. So I was like, hey, let's apply to law school and see what happens. And I ended up getting in, and that's how I'm here now. So yeah, I didn't always want to be a lawyer, but I feel like it worked out this way for the best. Now moving on to some of the questions that I wrote down. I feel like a lot of people wonder how much work law school is. And of course, I've only been in it for a month, but I feel like I already have a grasp on how it's going to be for the next 3 years of my life. So I feel like I have a very unpopular opinion, and this might be just because I'm brand new and I'm only a month in, but I was so horrified at the fact of people just saying like, oh my gosh, like you're not gonna have time for anything, like law school is so difficult, there's so much reading, blah blah blah. And yes, there is so much reading. I knew there was gonna be a lot of reading going in, but then when I actually was getting assigned my readings, I was like, whoa, like this is a lot. And I don't know why, but I feel like for my school specifically, I get more readings than other law schools because I have some friends who go to different law schools within like the New York State area, and I just feel like my readings are so much more than theirs, but that's besides the point. But I'm basically reading like 200 pages a week for my classes. But I seriously feel like if you're really good at time management, which not to toot my own horn, but I feel like I am so good at time management. If you're good at time management and knowing how to get your work done and drawing like boundary lines between like when you can go out, when you can do your homework, I seriously feel like it's really manageable. I'm personally a morning person, so I've noticed that I really like waking up early in the morning on the weekend, probably around like 6 o'clock. And then I'm done with my readings for like half of the week by 1 p.m. that day. And then I have the rest of the weekend to myself. And then throughout the week, I do my work for the next couple of days ahead. And sometimes I find that I'm actually ahead. Like right now, I'm ahead for this week. So I feel like you end up having more time than what you think. And yes, the material is by no means easy. We're all learning this. This is all brand new. It's like a different language. Like it's nothing like you will ever expect because law is just so complicated and such dense material that it does take a long time to get the hang of it. But after only being in law school for a month, I can already see such a difference in how much I've grown in my vocabulary, how I see things differently, and then also I just can't believe how much I've learned in such a short amount of time. It's so crazy. I just feel like my brain has expanded so much, and I've barely started yet, so I can only imagine how it will feel like at the end of 3 years. But I personally really enjoy it so far. I've heard so many people that have graduated from law school who have just said the total opposite, and it really scared me into thinking like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I can do this. But I will say, don't listen to what anyone says. Just stay on your own path and kind of just like take everyone else's opinions out of the picture, because everyone's experience is different. Everyone's gonna have good things to say, bad things to say, but from me personally, I don't really have anything bad to say about it as of right now. I really enjoy my classes. I love my teachers, and I think I made a really good choice in picking my school, so I'm really happy about that. The next question is, what classes are you taking as a 1L? So right now I'm taking torts, civil procedure, contracts, and legal writing. So 3 doctrinal classes in addition to legal writing. And the doctrinal classes, I believe, are all 4 credits each, and legal writing is 2 credits each. So that's what I'm taking for fall semester. And then next semester, I believe I'm taking criminal law, property, con law, and then legal writing 2. So those are the classes that you take your 1L year. I believe most schools just like set your schedule for you. I didn't have the chance to make my own schedule. It was already made for me. Next question I have down is, do I need to apply to take any prereqs before law school? And no, the most amazing thing about law school is that you literally don't need to have any specific major for it. You don't need to be a political science major if you don't like political science. You don't need to be a philosophy major, any of that. Like I said, I was a business major in undergrad, and I know so many people in law school who are like music majors, dance majors. There's no specific major that you need. Maybe taking philosophy might help you a little bit logic wise, but you can really be any major. There's no prereqs. When did you apply to law school? So I listened to so many people, and everyone was like, you need to have your application in by October 1st, before Thanksgiving, really early, in order to get scholarship money and all that blah blah blah. I was freaking out because I personally took the October LSAT, and I didn't get my LSAT score until the end of October of last year. And I don't know what it was, but I procrastinated doing my personal statement up until actually around Christmas, which is so bad because there was people already getting acceptances by that time, and I still had yet to apply because just the thought of applying was freaking me out, and I was contemplating on whether or not I wanted to take a gap year. So that was something else that was like really stressing me out. And I ended up applying, I think, on like New Year's Eve. So pretty late into the cycle if you're listening to what anyone else says. But I actually had, I think, a pretty successful cycle. I got waitlisted at 2 schools. I got accepted into 7, and then I got rejected from 3. So I feel like it really wasn't that bad. Yes, I did apply to a lot of schools because I was just self-conscious, and I was just scared that I wasn't going to get into anywhere even though I knew I had the grade. But everyone says that you need to apply like September 1st, October 1st. But I personally think as long as you apply like before Christmas time, you are definitely in a safe, sweet spot. You might get more scholarship money, but I personally got pretty decent scholarships considering that I heard back from all of my schools by like late February. But again, if you just want to get it over and done with, apply early. I think they open September 1st, so definitely do that. Next question is, how much does it cost to apply to law school? So I spent so much money. Well, thank God, not me. My parents were kind enough to pay for all of my law school applications, and I know that not everyone has the means to do that, but every single school I believe does have a fee waiver program. You just need to qualify for it. Unfortunately, I didn't, so I did end up having to pay for a lot of my applications. But the good thing is that some schools actually give their applications for free. The only thing that you need to pay for is, I believe it's $50 to send in your LSAT score and your GPA. I'm not exactly sure on that because it has been so long, but a lot of law school applications are actually free. And if they aren't free, you can actually apply for that program, like I said, and you don't have to worry about paying any extra cost. And sometimes schools are actually nice enough where if you email them, they'll send you their own personal fee waiver for an application through LSAT, and that's also really helpful. So I would definitely recommend doing that. But I personally spent around like $500 applying to certain schools because some applications were more expensive than others, and then again you have to pay $50 for each school to send your LSAT score and your transcript, so it does add up. I would recommend making a really concise list of your reach schools, your target schools, all the schools that you want to go to, and then narrow it down from there so you have a good amount that's not too little or too excessive. Next question is, are cold calls as bad as they say they are? So I actually got cold called on my first day of civil procedure, and the professor stayed on me for 40 minutes, and it was so scary. But I can honestly say, looking back on it, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was in the very moment that it was happening. People literally came up to me afterwards and were like, oh my god, I can't believe you just did that, you're so brave, because it just felt so scary at the time. But now that I'm already like into it, it doesn't feel as bad, and no one remembers anything. Like, I promise you, like when someone gets called on, I feel like everyone in the class just like blacks out because they're so worried about answering a question correctly if like they're next, and I just feel like no one pays attention to what's actually happening. So they seriously feel worse in your head than what they actually are. And I don't know, maybe I just got lucky, but my professors, when they cold call, they're actually really nice about it, and none of my professors like make you feel bad if you don't know the answer. They just move on to the next person, or they'll answer the question for you. And at my school, cold calls seriously are really cold calls. I know other schools, the professor will tell you like if you're going to be on call tomorrow, but so far in my classes it's not like that. They'll just basically go through the attendance sheet and then pick out a random name, and then you're on call for like whatever case we're discussing. So yes, it does feel very nerve-wracking, but I promise it's not as bad as you think, and you will get through it. Next question is, can you work through law school? So I will definitely say that everyone's answer for this will probably be different, but they do recommend that you shouldn't work your 1L year because it's such a learning curve and trying to learn the law and like all these new things, so it does take up a lot of time. So I personally wouldn't recommend working a full-time job, but I actually tutor some kids in my neighborhood, and I can make my own schedule around it. So whenever I'm free, I'm definitely still going to continue doing that because it works in my favor, because of the fact that I can make my own schedule and say, oh, I can't come this day or I can't come tomorrow. So I just feel like that's really important. If you are going to work, make sure that your job gives you some type of flexibility, or if you want to make some extra money on the side, like sell your clothes on Poshmark, bring them to Buffalo Exchange, just any way that you can make some sort of money without feeling like you have to be tied down to a job, I feel is the best way to do it. I know some 2Ls and 3Ls work at law firms throughout the law school year, so I really think it's manageable in your later years of law school, but definitely not your first year. If it's a job where they set your hours for you, I feel like that's just so stressful. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend working your first year unless you had the means to make your own schedule to make it work for you. The next question I have is it really like high school? I wanted to answer this question specifically because I saw so many people saying that law school is literally high school all over again, and I was like, what are they talking about? But now that I'm here, I really feel like I'm in high school again, which is the funniest thing to me. So basically we have lockers. I don't have a locker because I don't feel like I need one. I have a really good schedule where I don't have gaps, and I'm home early by like 1 o'clock every single day, so there's no need for me to have a locker. But yes, we have lockers. Everyone has already like formed their own like friend groups or cliques, which is so weird because in law school you're in your own section, and basically that section is who you stay with for the rest of your 1L year. So everyone has already made like pretty close friends. Everyone just stays together with their own little friend group. Everyone eats lunch at the same time. We all move to the same classes at the same time. We have the same professors. It is just so weird in that sense, and in that way it does feel a lot like high school. The next question I have written down is, was it hard to make friends? I personally have one really close friend that I was talking to even before I started law school. We met on LinkedIn and then we were just texting the whole summer, and now that we've like finally met in person, we just stayed together because everyone, like I said, has already like formed their own cliques. But I definitely talk to like so many people just in general, and everyone is so kind and sweet. I haven't had a problem with anyone. I don't think anyone has had a problem with anyone, but it definitely is easy to make friends. You can just go up to people, say hi, see how they're doing, and I feel like more people are willing to talk, especially if they're 1Ls, because we're all in the same boat. None of us really know each other. It's nice to make friends because then when finals come, it's easier to make study groups. And yeah, I will say it's not bad making friends at all. Next question I have written down is, are there any clubs and organizations at law school? And yes, there is. My school has so many. I actually joined a couple like 2 weeks ago. We had like this fall fest where all the campus organizations came together and people could just sign up. So I signed up for Entertainment Law Society, Real Estate Law Society, Women in Law Society, so many, and I'm really looking forward to partaking in those opportunities. But yeah, I seriously have nothing bad to say about law school so far. Maybe I'll do an updated video in like 3 months before finals and see how I feel then. But this video is already getting super long. If I missed out on any questions that you wanted to have answered, please leave them down below and I will be more than happy to respond to you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you want to see some law school vlogs, definitely subscribe to my channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.